Now, once you have documents inside of your vector store, what do you do with them? Well, in make.com, you can also call your vector store and get back chunks of data that you can use to feed AI for a number of different things. I use it in my personality vector, and here's how. Now that you have a Qdrant cluster filled with a vector store with tons of collections of data, what do you do with it? Well, I'll show you what I do with mine as an example of how you can use make.com to query your vector store. In this particular scenario, I start with a WordPress watch posts trigger. So whenever I publish a new article on my website, it will be sent through this scenario. This transform to JSON is the system prompt for AI. This is where I tell AI, I'm going to give you all of this context, and I want you to use it to generate content that sounds like me. All right, so here we have the make an API call, which is an embeddings, and this is because we need to embed the query for the vector store. So here, make an API call to OpenAI v1 embeddings. What we're embedding, what the query is going to be for the vector store, is the title of the article. And then the text aggregator puts all of those embeddings together. Then the next module is a GPT-4 module where I basically tell it there are 3 expert databases that we can access, but I need to know which one to access. So based on this article title and the article excerpt, return which expert database this is in regarding. And the reason I do that is because I have 3 expert databases inside of my Qdrant cluster, one about AI, one about consumer psychology, behavioral psychology, and then one about copywriting and marketing. And I like to talk about all 3 of those things. So when I write an article and it has to do with one of those 3 things, this GPT module is going to determine, based on that article, which of those expert databases need to be queried. Then we have the first Qdrant query, right? So HTTP, your cluster URL / collections, and then the name of the collection. In this case, it's going to be the output of the previous module / points / search, and it's searching that collection for and then here's the vectors, joined, split, and then joined so that all the spaces are out. And then it's searching that collection for the vectors, which are the vectorized title of the article, which happened over here. So remember, this is the vectors from the query. Now we are querying one of the knowledge bases, one of the expert knowledge base collections for that information. Then we have the conscience database. This is a database that's filled with personal questions and answers, world philosophies, etc. We also query that one. Then we have the social writing database. This is a database with a whole bunch of LinkedIn and Facebook posts from me, and it serves as kind of the writing sample or writing example database, which we pull from that as well. And then transform to JSON, we have the personality module, and this is where we offer the data chunks from the conscience database to AI, and we say, hey, this is a whole bunch of personal questions and answers and world philosophies from Anthony, the person that you're ghostwriting for. Use this to determine Anthony's position or feelings about this particular topic. And then we put that into an API call to Claude. So this is going to Claude Sonnet 3.5, and it's just, hey, here's the information. Acknowledge that you got it. The next, and then this is transforming the answer so that we can use it in subsequent API calls. Then we call Perplexity. This is for up-to-date information. We say, hey, you are an internet searcher. Look through the internet for information, up-to-date information about this. And then it's the article title again. Then we have this transform to JSON, which is where we take the results from the Perplexity web search, and then we give it to Claude. We say, hey, here's some web context. And then also, here's an article that was written by Anthony. Take this as context for the information that we're writing about. Then that's given to Claude Sonnet 3.5. And then the output is transformed into JSON again. Because as you can see, we have to transform the questions and the answers so that the AI has the full conversation history. Next, we have the expert knowledge prompt. This is where we say, hey, here's your database chunks for this particular topic. Use this to inform the specific details on this topic. Then we give that to Claude as well. As you can see, this is getting longer and longer and longer. Finally, we have the social writing examples, and we give this to Claude. We say, okay, here are writing samples to inform the structure and style of your response. Then the prompt is, now write a social media post about the article that you were given, using the expert knowledge and the web context as more information on the topic. Also using the personality or the conscience information to determine Anthony's point of view on the topic, and then use the social media writing samples or examples to inform how to structure the response in the tone and personality and voice of Anthony Lee. Then that's given to Claude Sonnet, this time with max tokens of 2,000. All the others were only 100 because the response was going to be, yeah, I got the information. This final one is now asking for a specific output. Then we lean on GPT once more to create a text-to-image prompt, and then DALL-E 3 generates that image. And then this last module takes that image and the content from Claude and makes it into a LinkedIn post. So that is how you can query a Qdrant vector store and use that as context for AI-generated content. Hope that helps.